Good morning. We're in week 7. Today's Wednesday, so it goes at the bottom of week 7. We're getting close to where you will be turning in bell work. Bell work will be turned in week 9, and I would expect 9 pages, not 10, not 12, not 8, 9 pages, 1 page per week. All the bell work's on videos from each day. Let's take a look here. Graph that point. Well, we have quadrants here, so let's talk about that. This first one is quadrant 1, and it goes backwards. It goes counterclockwise. 2, 3, and then 4. It goes this way. This is your x-axis. This is your y. X, y. X always comes first. It's a negative, so you go to the left. 0, 1, 2. And then you go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 1 is right there. Number 2 is negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up 5. Somewhere up here is number 2. Make sure you know how to graph a point. You'd be surprised. Some kids can't do that. Okay. The next one here is you're multiplying a negative times a negative. So it's going to be a negative 3 plus 15. The signs are opposite, so you subtract. You have more positives, so it's going to be 12. This is the absolute value, so that's going to be the absolute value of negative 10, which gives you a positive 10. This one is no absolute values, so you add them up and keep the sign. This one is negative 10. There's a difference between absolute value and not. This is called an ordered pair. Okay. On a new sheet of paper, copy this down. We're going to skip 3.1. Number 1, example 1, is it a solution? Well, in order to be a solution, it has to be on this line. So what you do is you plug in your y, which is 4, and then you plug in your x, which is negative 2, and you see if this side is the same as that one. This gives you a negative 6. This gives you 3. 3 is not equal to 4, so this point is not on that line. Therefore, it's not a solution. No solution. Let's take a look at the graph. You make a table, or you can use your slope and y-intercept. I'm going to do slope and y-intercept. So this is my y-intercept. So I'm going to go up 9, somewhere up here. That's my y-intercept. From here, it's rise over run. So I'm going to go ahead and go up 3 and then to the right 1. So 1, 2, 3, rise, run. Now this point is negative 2, up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's close, but it's not on there. Okay, if I had graph paper, you would really see. Okay, but we know it's not a solution because we plugged it in and it didn't work. Okay. All right, let's move on. If it did work, then yes, it would be a solution. It would be on the line. Make a table. I usually use 0, 1, and 2. All you need is 2 points, but we're going to use 3. Okay. These are called independent. They're independent because you picked them. These, the y's, are called dependent. They depend on whatever you pick. So, if I put 0, 5 minus 0 is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. And 5 minus 2 is 3. So I graph it. Over 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over 1 up 4. Over 2 up 3. And it looks like this. And all you need is 2 points for a line. Okay? So we made a table and we graphed it. We also graphed this other one by slope and y-intercept. So you got to know all of these. Now here are some special cases, so watch. This one says y is a negative 5. So this is my y, so go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want you to put tick marks. If it says y, it looks like the x-axis. The x-axis is flat. So this is number 1. And that's a 0 slope. If it says y equals 0, 0 is right here. Okay, that's your y. So y equals 0 is really the x-axis. That's number 2. So this is the x-axis. It's a special one. X equals 3. This is your x. Use tick marks. 1, 2, 3. So it's going up. Undefined slope. This is number 3. These are special cases, and you need to know how to do these. We'll talk more about those later. Let's move on. Example 4. First thing you got to do is get y by itself and then graph it. Okay, so copy that down. We're going to distribute. So you're going to get y minus 4 equals 1/2 x. Put a 1 under here. A positive times a negative, that's 1 negative. 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. So I'm going to get y minus 4 equals 1/2 x. This becomes minus 4. I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and I get y equals 1/2 x. Now, make a table. I always use 0. Since my denominator is a 2, I would use 2's and 4's and 6's, anything that 2 goes into. So 1/2 times 0 is still going to be 0. That's the origin. 1/2 times 2, put a 1 under here, this cancels, so you get 1. 1/2 times 4, 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 4, 2. Let's take a look at these points. Over 0, up 0, over 2, up 1, over 4, 3, 4, up 2, 1, 2. So they all should be on this line, and they are. Okay? So you have to first get y by itself. All right, last one. This one says graph by the x and y-intercept. To find the x-intercept, now what does that mean? This is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. When a line comes in, let's say it looks like that. If it hits the x-axis right here, that's called your x-intercept. And that means it crosses the x-axis. This is your y-intercept. Okay, now, to find your x, you let y equal 0. To find your y-intercept, you let x equal 0. You let the other one. So if you want y, you put a 0 here. So that gives you 3 times 0 is 0. So you get 2y equals 6. Y equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. So your y-intercept here is 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? To find your x-intercept, you let y equal 0. So you're going to have 3x plus 2y equals 6. You're going to put a 0 here. This cancels. Divide 6 by 3, and you get 2. So your x-intercept is 2. It almost looked like the one I just drew randomly. Okay, but there it is. This is called your y-intercept and your x-intercept. Make sure you know that. So, let me ask you again. To find the x-intercept, I let which one be 0? The other one. Y. All right, here's your assignment for today. If you get stuck, look at the answers. If you still can't figure it out, ask. We're going to go on to geometry. And the time now is 8:50. So let's take a look here. All right, first of all, rules. If you go clockwise, you change the x and switch. So change x, switch. Write that down. So you change the x, becomes a negative in this case, and you switch it, and the y comes first. Counterclockwise, you change the y and switch. So change the y and switch. 180, you change both of them, but no switching. 270, that's kind of a trick question here to see if you can get it. Look here. 270, each one of these is 90. So 270 counterclockwise. Let's say you start here. That would be 90, 180, 270. So 270 counterclockwise would be the same as 90 degrees clockwise. So you would use the rule for clockwise. So you would change the x and switch. Okay? So that's an intuitive way of figuring out 270. All right. Hopefully that made sense to you. Now look here, we're going counterclockwise. Well, counterclockwise, the rule is right here. You change the y. So I'm going to change the y's and switch. So I change it, it becomes a positive. The x stays the same. I change it, I switch it, and this becomes a positive, and the 6 goes there because I had to switch them. 180, you change them. So change, change. So it's going to be 2, 4. Change is a -6, and then change is 7. Okay, remember, these negatives don't mean make it a negative, it means change it. So if it is a negative, like this one, you change it to a positive. Okay, you're going to use your rules today, and today we're doing worksheet C. So if you can't be with us, let's take a look at it. Okay, and I'll upload it in a minute to Canvas. So let's take a look at it. Let me pull it off, and we'll look at it. All right, so here we go. What I want you to do today is pretty much the same as yesterday. So I want you to write where these points are. I want you to fill out the rules. This one is change the x and switch. This one is change the y and switch. This one is change and change. So fill that out. And let's go here. This point is over 1, up 3. 1, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4, up 2, over 1, 2, down 1, so over 2, down 1, and then over 1, up 1. All right, I think I got my points right. So the new points, and you can write them on top, which is what I'm going to do. In this case, I'm going to write that one on bottom. So the new points, we're going 180 degrees. Okay, 180 degrees, you change them. So this changes, this changes, this changes, that changes, this changes, and this changes to a plus. This changes, and then you graph them. And that's all you do. Okay? All right, so use your rules. This one right here says what rule is used. Well, here's n. And you're going from here, there's the origin, so you can rotate it around here. I'm going to say 90 degrees. Let me see if I can figure that out. Let's check it. So this point right here is over 1, up 2, this point right there. Now this point is, if it was 90 degrees clockwise, which I'm suspecting, you would change the x and switch. So you would change that and switch it. So this would be over 2, down 1. So no, it's not that one. Okay, so it's not 90 degrees clockwise. I think it's 180. Let's try 180. 180, you change both of these. So change and change. So you get a -1 and -2, and that's what it is. Make sure I got this right. It's actually this point. Take that back. So it was over 2, up 1 was this point here. So 2, 1, and then you change them for the 180, and it becomes -2, -1, and that's what that is. So this one is 180 degree rotation. So it's a rotation of 180. And that's how you got to figure them out. All right, anyhow, I'll help you out in class. Have a good morning.